la mesa ahí, ten cuenta con vos.
The rhythm changes, so does the dance. When the rhythm changes, so does the dance. When the rhythm changes, so does the dance.
No, that's not what he just said. No, you need to show some compassion.
You've got to have a more mature understanding of race. What you said is countries that have a mixed population cannot be racist, essentially.
Everyone knows, for those who don't know, the only successful slave revolution in human history, not in black history, occurred in Haiti. Haiti's been made to pay for that revolution over and over again. From the French extorting 91 million gold francs, which weren't paid off until 1947, to the American invasion of 1915, it installed Papa Doc Duvalier, to the taking out by force of Jean-Bertrand Aristide.
I think there are a number of issues facing both Haiti and the Dominican Republic and people of Haitian heritage living in the Dominican Republic. I think one of the big issues really is the supports that the Dominican Republic government has of US policies in Haiti itself. This is leading to a facilitation of underdevelopment, the policies which lead to the exploitation of labour there, which lead to the lack of infrastructure being built, particularly after the earthquake. We saw that the US Red Cross wasted $500 million. They only built 6 houses with all of the money that was made following the earthquake. So you can see that the Dominican Republic's relationship with the United States means that they're able to be somewhat dismissive of the lives of Haitian people and people of Haitian heritage within their country. I think the second issue is the imposition of this constitutional policy. The fact that, according to the United Nations, over 200,000 people are likely to remain completely stateless due to the imposition of this policy, I think can only be allowed to happen because powers like the United States will allow it to happen. So I think that being able to be a more democratic country, which doesn't adhere to the whims of the United States, and in fact actually adheres to the whims of their own population and the population of its neighbour Haiti, would lead to a far more humanitarian response to the lack of documentation that many people of Haitian heritage within the Dominican Republic currently have.
Alright, greetings, welcome everyone to this space where we share today in unity and solidarity with our brothers and sisters all over the world, everywhere. That's why we're here right now. Because as we know, serious times we're in, serious attacks from all sides, from every way you turn this is going on. So it's important that we come today to show this solidarity and unity in the way that we do it, and we need to spread the word far and wide about what's going on, especially with Haiti in this story, because Haiti paid the price. We can't even measure what debt we owe to those ancestors and those still living who have survived, you know, and set the liberation struggle, yeah, for Africans in the diaspora to see a successful example of fighting back and resistance against colonial system, which still exists to this day, over and over, yeah? And this is the battle that we're fighting now. Everyone focuses still on the overt. I don't want to deal with the covert, yeah? Right? We have to see between all of the divisions and come together like we're coming together now. Yeah? When the shift happens, you either expand or you contract and you die. You understand? So this is life we are dealing with, right? If you agree, say Asheo. Alright, so as this life we're dealing with, yeah? We're going to call the ancestors' energy. But remember, when we do these things, we have to call the ancestors' energy and be in that energy. We just can't call and expect something to happen. We have to be the energy that we wish to invoke. If you agree, say Asheo. Asheo. Alright, so I want all the family, yeah, to call the names of the ancestors, yeah, all of you. Let's bring the energy together. And as we begin to drum and you hear the beat, yeah, I want you to call out the names, yeah, make it loud and make the ancestors hear us so that the energy comes that we need to be able to take on this battle that we have to take on. Ibao, Ibao, Ibao. Ibao, 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 Let's call the names of those who came before us to go forward, yeah? I want to hear your voices loud and strong, yeah? Come, we go.
Jean-Jacques Dessalines.
Acheo, Paul Vogel, Acheo.
Du seul ouverture.
Queen Nanny.
Queen Nanny, Acheo.
Marcus Mazaya Garvey.
Marcus Garvey, Acheo.
Kwame Nkrumah.
Kwame Nkrumah, Acheo. Acheo.
Bay Shabazz.
Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela, Acheo.
Tamora Michelle.
Tomorrow, Acheo, Acheo. Keep it coming.
Walter Rugby.
Yeah, keep it going. Keep it going. Hey, make, come on. Acheo.
Thomas Sankara.
Acheo. Cabral. Acheo. Acheo. Acheo.
Ya Santua.
Acheo.
Nzinga.
Acheo.
Goddess.
Acheo.
All of the Kenyan freedom fighters.
Acheo.
Listen, thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen. This just needs to be the beginning of this organization. This is connected to the whole global movement. What's going on right now? We're seeing it in Ferguson. We're seeing it, sadly, even in Black South Africa, who led us revolutionary and now wants to kill other Africans coming into the country. Right? We're seeing this a new wave of anti-black racism swarming the globe right now, even occurring in black and brown countries around the world. So this needs to be the first step, the least we can do, given the debt we've just spoken about. For those who don't know, I'm presuming we're among converts, but nonetheless. And why is it only applying to Haitians?
It's applying to everyone.
So,
116 nationalities benefited from this program. Of course, we're the only contiguous neighbor to Haiti. So, being in the situation they're in with 70% unemployment and lack of growth, many problems that we want Haiti to resolve so they can create jobs for Haitians in Haiti. Obviously, the first country for them to live for is the Dominican Republic. We never prevent them from coming. Now, they will have to come with documents. That's what we are preparing, that's all. We're not expelling Haitians. Haitians are very hardworking. We appreciate their contribution to the Dominican economy tremendously. They work very successfully in many, many sectors. And now, because they have documents, this is very important. Because they have documents, they won't be exposed to exploitation in the labor market. And you know how it is for immigrants anywhere in the world. You lack documents, you face the risk of exploitation. And this is very important for the Dominican government, that everybody gets a fair wage, that they don't accept below minimum wage, so that living standards don't decline for everyone.
According to the United Nations Refugee Agency, 200,000 people will be made stateless due to the implementation of this new policy. So therefore, do you not think that rather than this creating better economic security for people of Haitian heritage, it will actually create a humanitarian crisis far greater than any of these people have seen before?
I think the humanitarian crisis is already there in Haiti, where you have millions and millions of people without jobs, millions and millions of people without food, millions and millions of people without documents. That's where the crisis is. I think we need to focus where the
We didn't ask about Haiti, we asked
No. Look, we will resolve the problem. Look, this is very important. I think we have to listen. We have to listen to this. This is very important. We are resolving the problems for all the Haitians in Dominican Republic. Those who are leaving are getting their documents and will return and will be welcome when they have their documents. But tell me about those millions that don't have documents. What's going to happen with them? Are they going to leave without documents? we need everybody to get documents so they can vote in the election. You know how many people voted last elections in Haiti? 12% of the voting age population.
If this process has been initiated to benefit Haitians, A, why are so many Haitians confused? Why are so many human rights groups condemning it? Why are so many nations, including the UN, who we have our dubious concerns about, why have so many people come out against it if you're saying this is done for the benefit of the immigrants? A, two-part question. And the second part, you keep making slights on Haiti's democracy, but you keep, or lack thereof, but you keep failing to reference why they haven't had democracy, the occupation that your country also suffered at the hands of the United States. They installed Papa Dr. Valier, that I'm sure you're very aware of, who was supported by your chief ally in the region, the United States of America. You've said nothing about that. You keep making slights on Haiti's democracy, yet you know full well they've had two properly democratic elections in which they elected a gentleman who was prevented from carrying out his full term in government, partly in cooperation with the military forces of your country. And you're saying there's no evidence, but there's reams of scholarship produced to prove that.
Well, I'd like to see that, and I look.
There's a good book. It's called. I'll give you one right now. I'll give you one right now. I'll give you a book right now to read. 1 second.
You have documents. I have documents, but I think we need to keep talking. But you have asked two fair questions. Why are international organizations saying this? Let's ask them together. Let's bring them to the embassy. Let's bring Amnesty International to the embassy. Let's talk with them, because the evidence they're presenting has no base whatsoever when you look at the facts in the ground of what we've done. Okay.
And why are so many Dominican Dominicans of Haitian ancestry complaining? If this is being done for their benefit, all the videos we're seeing on YouTube, all the letters we're receiving, all of the information we're receiving,
many are complaining.
You're surely failing to communicate that to your citizens.
No.
If it's being done for their benefit.
No, I think they are complaining. They are complaining.
Can I ask, as far as you're saying they have the availability of schools and education, etc. How does the Dominican Republic, just because I'm quite interested how it manifests itself, how do you put children and families into schools and hospitals without documentation? How do your police force and your authorities go about investigating the murders and the lynchings of people? How do you find their names and their addresses without documents? I just want to know, because
as you can imagine, I'm not a policeman, so I don't know what the procedures
are. No, but you're saying it happens.
But I can tell you, in the schools, they are not discriminated. They don't have to bring a birth certificate.
No, you're not answering my question. though. You've removed very far away from the question.
But it's a social service. You're talking about the social services in general. The ones I can reply are all the services. But unfortunately, they don't.
These policies that you're pushing forward, do you not think they're going to reinforce that anti-Haitian sentiment that we're already seeing playing out, where there's been very widespread violence towards Haitians in the Dominican Republic? Do you not think this is going to reinforce that?
I don't think so. The Dominican Republic the Dominican Republic has welcomed Haitians. Always. They are integrated. They work. There is no policy. There is no generalized attitude.
And you think the Dominican Republic, Dominicans of Haitian origin, do you think that's the way they generally feel? Because the Dominicans of Haitian origin that we've been speaking to, that have been interviewed, quite high-profile novelists like Edwin Danticat and other people of this nature, that's not what they're saying. So to speak on their behalf, to say they're integrated, I mean, white people in England will tell you we're integrated, right?
Yeah. But white people own everything in Haiti.
When you go to Brixton and Peckham,
Dominican
black people will tell you a different story.
Holborn right here.
Or Holborn right now. You're saying about the Dominican Republic, and you're saying it's an integrated society. If I look at who owns the wealth and the property and the sugar plantations and the military and the power in the Dominican Republic, is that right? Is that representative of the population? Does it look in terms of color?
100% representative.
Really?
Really?
Let me explain something to you. There is no such thing as
so the wealth in the Dominican Republic is owned by people that look like him.
Let me
How many people going around in limos look like him?
I may look with a very fair skin. I may have a very fair skin, but my great-grandmother was an African slave in the Dominican Republic. She married a Spaniard. And then my grandfather was the son of a Palestinian immigrant. The Dominican Republic is so racially integrated.
I don't understand
that race is not an issue.
I think you mean. I think you mean
in Dominican politics. You don't understand.
He said race is not an issue.
You think the Caribbean is the same? Where are you from originally? Tell me.
Jamaica.
The Dominican Republic is not Jamaica.
Just listen a second. I'm aware of that.
No, but you're African.
Okay.
The Dominican Republic is African.
Just in case you're unaware.
I've been to Jamaica many times.
Just in case you're unaware.
Soon come.
A lot of those nationalities, you don't need to do the accent. A lot of those nationalities you just mentioned are also in Jamaica. The reason why I pick you up on this, I spent quite a lot of time in Brazil.
Brazil makes the same claims you're making about being a racial democracy because all of these different people live there. But who owns the power and the wealth in Brazil? When I go to Ipanema or Leblon or Gavia, where all the money and the wealth is, what do the people look like? When I go to the favelas, what do the people look like? Are you telling me that in the Dominican Republic, racially, the wealth, the power, the military of the country, all of those resources are distributed racially fairly?
No. If there is one fully integrated,
because you'd be the only country in the world.
It's integrated, but people of darker skin are the most poor.
I think that if the United Nations, I think that if the United Nations, if Amnesty International, if Haitian, people of Haitian heritage, United Nations, if Amnesty International, if people of Haitian heritage themselves are saying one thing, and the Dominican Republic state itself is saying a different thing, it's going to be quite difficult for us to really reconcile that difference, because it's clearly in your interest to defend yourselves. But I can't really understand why the United Nations and Amnesty International would either, number one, lie, would be so wholly misguided as to the reality on the ground, given their resources, their insights and their power. So I think it'd be quite difficult for us to kind of believe that Dominican Republic state over all of these independent organisations as well as people of Haitian heritage themselves. So I think we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one.
No, I think no, you're very eloquent, and I welcome your statement, and I welcome the opportunity to continue this dialogue. This doesn't stop here.
No.
The embassy is open.
We will do.
You don't have to demonstrate. You can. I hope you read your music.
Yeah. Every time.
But you know what? We respect you for coming out.
Yeah, we respect you. Most British politicians would not do that.
Why are you gonna come? I love this dialogue. I'm open to this dialogue.
We will follow up.
Documents, and when they get their documents, they can always come back.
They're leaving the Dominican Republic to get their documents.
Yes, because the consulates didn't deliver it on time. We allowed the Haitian government to open 5 consulates, and they didn't give the documents.
We heard a lot of what you're saying, and we respect you for coming out and speaking. But the fact of the matter is, in the Dominican Republic, most of the people who own everything look like you and not like him or him.
So
that's not what he just said. That's not what he just said.
You've got to have a more mature understanding of race. What you said is countries that have a mixed population cannot be racist, essentially, because your great-grandparent was an African slave and your grandfather was from Palestine. What I'm trying to say to you, as someone who's also mixed, my mother is from Scotland, my dad is from Jamaica, but I'm also aware that there is what we call a light-skin hierarchy. You should be aware of this in the Caribbean. So, for example, in the Caribbean,
in Latin America,
in the Caribbean,
Colombia, Venezuela,
you used the word earlier. You used the word earlier. Mulatto. Do you know what this word means? It means mule. Mules cannot reproduce themselves. The wealth and the power in London is this, because it represents these people that live in. London is officially, the minority in London is people who consider themselves white and rich. That's the minority, the last census confirmed. The majority of people in London do not identify that way and are not seen that way. But the power and the wealth and the economic control of the nation is all owned by, is all owned by people who not only look similar, they went to the same school and they went to the same university. Now they would tell you Britain is a democracy and there's no racism. So when you say that to me as a lighter skinned, privileged Dominican working in the government, and dark skinned Dominican Haitians and other people are telling me different, given our own experiences and given the reality of racism, who should we believe? The person in the position of privilege or the person who's the victim?
The fact that the ambassadors to the Dominican Republic came out and spoke to the protest today, I think was really fantastic. I don't think any British politician would come and do that in this country, let alone a British embassy in another country. Unfortunately, his answers weren't really satisfactory for many of the people protesting today. We cited figures from the United Nations, from Amnesty International, from people of Haitian heritage and other Haitians themselves about the way they're being treated in the Dominican Republic, and he was dismissive of every single one of them. And so it's very, very difficult for protesters here at this demonstration today to read what the United Nations are writing, what humanitarian organisations are writing, what people of Haitian heritage are writing, and to have that all dismissed by the Dominican Republic government. So although it's good that he came out, I think his responses were lacking.
How do I feel? My feelings, if I'm to be honest, change on a daily basis, because you can get so caught up with life that you forget the seriousness of the ongoing struggle of African people everywhere, and that we're being killed and slaughtered like animals. And other times the feeling gets so overwhelming and you feel really hopeless because there's only so much you could do as one. And And that's why it's important for us to come together, because there's strength in unity. But I feel great pain, especially because of what Haiti means to us in the Caribbean and throughout the African diaspora. And I feel like what happened today was a big slap in the face of what Haiti means, what Haiti stands for all of us. Because we came here not just to think about what's going on in Haiti now, but to remember our ancestors and the struggle and the revolution and all the lives and blood that was lost for us to be free. And instead we decided to give a platform to a Dominican politician to talk for an hour. And from the time I saw him standing outside of the building, I didn't even bother to listen. I immediately separated myself. And I'm still very confused and, visibly upset about why he was able, and he's still there, to hold a space for over an hour. And people listen to him. But that's not what revolution and freedom is about. We didn't come here to bar with politicians. And I actually asked the drummers to come and hold the space. And from the few sound bites that I've heard from other people that have been here, included whoever he is, saying that Haitians are leaving the DR voluntarily, and that all of the prime ministers of the DR have been black or mulatto. And nobody even needed to relay these sentiments to me, because we already know what they have to say, because the position of the DR on Haiti and black people in general has been clear for centuries. The Dominican Republic celebrates its independence from Haiti, and not from France, not from Spain. I'll say it again. The Dominican Republic celebrates its independence from Haiti. If you could wrap your head around that, then there would be no fucking reason why you'd be standing up and listening to a politician from the Dominican Republic. And I understand the choice of the location, just to let them know that we're here. But I can't see anything fruitful coming from standing and listening to this man. It's a betrayal to our ancestors and a betrayal to the struggle. Because they hate us. They hate us.